showtime.
Dynamite download.
Dynamite download, your home for all positive coverage with all elite wrestling.
You guys, positive energy.
This reality, like, it is me. Like,
Who let this guy in here?
This is what pro wrestling's supposed to feel like.
I'm saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
I said, Mariah May. She said, who?
Because I'm so driven, and I'm so moved to like what I want to do.
Versus Brian Keith match. It's awesome.
That's so cool. You got like these creepy ass dudes.
Oldest ride, longest line.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
I never say never about anything.
Yeah.
Back to do an interview with those guys. You know why? Because they spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Dynamite Download. I am Mind Runner, Mid Runner, and Courtney calls me Mud Runner. But, of course, SBD will be joining us here in just a moment. He's on special assignment, press assignment right now, which he's got some breaking news we'll talk about. But, of course, I am with Dynamite Club Gold, Courtney, the Queen of Mean Holland, and Brent the Brain Ross in the house. What's going on? Courtney, how you doing?
I'm recovering from bronchitis, so if I sound a little shaky, I apologize to our fans. But other than that, I'm on the mend, and I'm ready for full gear.
You're ready to go take it full gear, Courtney? I hear you. Excited matches. We're going to be going through our picks tonight. Hope you feel better. Weather is messing with us right now. Brent, how's the brain cooking? By the way, I love the Optimus R2D2 behind you. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that is R2112.
Nice, very cool, awesome stuff. How are you feeling right now? Are you loving the spirit of radio?
Sure, I am loving the spirit of the radio. I'm excited to break this stuff down, man.
And take it, and you're enjoying the limelight. The ever-present beam? Yeah, very cool. All right, and howdy to Steven Chambers in the chat. Before we get started with our picks, and it was just announced that there is a fatal four-way on 0 Hour. Dante Martin, Beast Mortos, Buddy Matthews. And I forget who I said. The fourth one is Commander. Talk about four high flyers. But we're actually, it's because it came in after we were getting started. That was kind of a little bit of the question there because it came in before we started the show or after we started the show. It's not going to count on our bingo card. But I mean, come on now, it's a free steak dinner. We're going to be enjoying it. I'm excited. A lot of high flyers. But before we get started with our picks, it's amazing what can happen with one night of Rampage. As we know from last night's report, this time the brackets might look the standings in our draft might look a little different. Let's take a look. And look at how things move around. Courtney, the Queen, is moving right up there. She's now at 21, tied with Steven. Look at how crazy it is. Hey, by the way, what's up, BR? Good to see you. Cray still stagnant at 19. Bobby at 17. Brent at 27. Strong second place. but Brian is right behind you, Brent. It's going to be crazy. But of course, Brian says we need a recount in Pennsylvania.
We do.
We need a recount. And look at Steven. Steven's saying not for long. Everybody's coming for it, and a lot of people are thinking. I am cautiously happy with my standing, but I'm cautious because I know a lot of my guys aren't going to be getting as many reps going forward, and especially I'm a little worried about old Orange Cassidy. Is he going to be taking some time off after Full Gear, depending on how things go? So I'm a little nervous. I'm not comfortable. I want you to understand, 36 might look comfortable. I'm not comfortable because anything can happen. Plus, after Thanksgiving, we're going to be drafting 3 more members to our teams. And wow, are there some hot prospects to pick up. All right. I'm excited for this. It's going to be so much fun. Let me just ask you real quick. Let me start with Brendan, go to Courtney. Overall, before we get to everything, how do you feel going into Full Gear? What are you excited, and what match are you most excited about?
I'm not like over the top excited. I think this might be leading into something for the next pay-per-view. We might be getting some like progressions on the feuds that might make me a little bit more excited.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually looking forward to the Chris Statlander Monet match.
Interesting. Do you think it's going to be some shenanigans involved, or you think it's going to be cool?
Definitely going to be
Straight up.
some shenanigans.
Could be awesome. I'm looking forward to that as well. Courtney, what about you? What are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited for the 0-hour match between Anna Jay and the Virtuosa Deanna Purrazzo. I know I messed that up, but
no,
working on it, girl.
I was afraid you were going to say an AJ the Boom.
No.
AJ the Boom versus QT Marshall, because that's the one I'm looking forward to.
And I'm also looking forward to this 4-way tag match. I'm really excited for or is it 3-way?
I think it is 4-way, yeah.
Okay. And I'm really excited to see what House of Black, Private Party, Outrunners, and the Lane bring us to the table.
It's going to be awesome. Well, without further ado, let's get to our predictions. And, of course, we've got our folks in the chat. If you want to chirp along, officially the bingo card will go out either late tonight or tomorrow morning. So whatever your picks are, you have until the start of the pay-per-view tomorrow to make any changes. At last minute, if you want to go, I think it's going to go this way, you're welcome to. But let's get to the event. Let's get to the event itself. It's time for our Full Gear preview show picks, and let's start off with talking about the first. Let's just talk about this match, which is getting quite a buzz on social media. The weigh-in was today. QT Marshall, not very heavy. QT weighing very light. Of course, there's shenanigans. QT gave AJ the cutter. Question on a lot of people's minds is, will the Rizzler turn heel on Big AJ and cost him the match? Courtney, what are your thoughts on this 0-hour match?
Oh my goodness! Well, I don't know who this AJ guy is because he's new to me. Never heard about him in my life. But exactly, BC. Who is he? But we got a friend of the show, QT Marshall, making his return back to the ring. I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, I got QT all the way, baby.
QT all the way. Very good friend of the show. Oh, you know what? I gotta fix this real quick. QT is a friend of the show, so you've got to make sure that you pick the. Put this to the back. I forgot this is the friend of the show. You got to go with him. So we'll go with Courtney over here, QT Marshall. Steven says he's going with the Costco Rejects, which is, that's where Big Boom AJ got his his popularity. He and his son with the chocolate chunky chunk cookie or something along those lines. Brent, where are you with the this gem of a match that we got coming up?
I think the Big Boom is going all the way. I just don't know. Like, I don't know who these guys are either. It might just be showing my age. I'm just like, what is this?
Well, hey, no cap, but it's bussin', and he's got he's jigga chadding skibbity riz. So,
but hey, if it's gonna bring some views, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's little. I guess Big Justice is the kid. That's AJ's kid. Interesting too, because I guess his daughter, the other AJ's older sister, she's been getting some interview reps. She I don't think she's there yet, but she's been doing some interviews with AEW. So I don't know if that's a possible career path for her, but I gotta go with Courtney here. Friend of the show, QT Marshall. You never underestimate. Plus, I have a prediction. The Rizzler's going to turn heel. He's going to hit AJ with the chair, cost him the match. QT pick up the win. That's where I'm standing. What do you guys think, chat? Looks like chat is really not into this this particular match, which I don't blame you. I do not blame you one bit at all. But looks like Brian's going with the chocolate chunk cookie. Bobby had sent me his picks as well. I'm gonna pull those up. But yeah, we can
Big
kind
Bobby.
Bobby wasn't able to make it, but he did send me his picks. And yeah, he also wasn't sure who that clown was. So he just kind of went, whoever. He asked me to pick for him, so I'm gonna say Bobby. I'm gonna have you pick the Boom guy. I'm gonna have you go with the majority with those clowns, and I think SPD will have to. I think SPD is agreeing that. Did he say Bobby picked QT? Yes, I thought. Oh, Bobby picked QT. I apologize, SPD, in the chat there. Bobby picked QT. This is before the doors open. Actually, Brian, this is taking place in Costco, I believe. I think this is going to actually take place in Costco. So let's SPD regrettably picks AJ. Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's move. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's have a much more entertaining match that was announced for 0 Hour. The Deonna Purrazzo and her thing of ours, this mafioso thing that she's got going on, versus Anna Jay, Stardom legend Anna Jay, as Mariah May likes to call it. Let me start with Courtney, since this is one of the matches you're super excited about. What's your pick and why?
Well, what's my pick? First of all, you can't be a Joshi legend if you only have one match in Japan. Come on now. Well, my pick is obviously I'm going with my girl Deonna Purrazzo, because the path that she took to AEW was not
ideal
for her. So I just love her presence, and so this should be a good match. We'll see. Although I will have to say, last week on was it Collision, the hardcore match with Mariah versus Anna Jay?
Yep.
They pulled out all the stops and the ladies got match of the night. So this is possibly going to be a match of the night contender for myself.
I'm excited. I think I think this one, I have to agree with SPD in the chat. I think that there's going to be some shenanigans, but because you have, of course, Deanna and Taya. Okay, Steven says Anna's eventually joining Deanna and Taya. I have a different take, but I want to hear Brent's thoughts. But Brent, do you think this is going to end like a normal match, or clean, or you think this is going to end with possibly a return?
Yes, I think something crazy is going to happen. I think Deanna is going to win. I think she hasn't really wrestled, I don't think, since she wrestled Thunder. And I think they're building up that faction. So I think she has to win, in my opinion. But I think, a return, Tay Conti, or Tay Mello, that would be amazing. Get Tay J back in the ranks. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to play out. Deanna's going to get the win, but then they're going to make Anna an offer she can't refuse. She's going to refuse. She and Ty are going to attack Anna J, and then you're going to hear Ty Mello's music hit, and Ty J reunites. Possibly, I know he's teasing us with this, but Tony Khan, you've got it right here. Here's two tag teams. You've got Mariah May and Mina. You've got a bunch of set up women's tag teams. Let's get this women's tag team division started and move on from that. Looks like SPD also says Deanna Purrazzo. Anybody going for Anna J? Steven in the chat. I don't think Annie eventually joining. He's picking Deanna. Looks like everybody's picking Deanna except Mindrunner. I'm gonna go Rogue because I can. I can risk it. I think Anna J is going to be the surprise. Is going to get a surprise win, and it could be from a disqualification or what have you. But I think that Anna J is going to pull off the win here. So that you heard it from me. Let's move on. Super exciting match here. I'm really excited. Talk about a difference in styles, but this is what you see a lot. This is one of the things I love about. Like there's something for everybody, and the adaptability of both talents. You got Konosuke Takeshita and Ricochet. You've got much more of a Kenny Omega style wrestler, and you've got Ricochet, who's much more of a high flyer, but they both can adapt in their styles. So let me start with Brent. Brent, between these two guys, these superstars, who are you feeling, and what do you think the outcome's going to be?
I think Takeshita is going to win, since he basically, just got the belt. Either way, I think it goes. We're not gonna lose, but I think Takeshita is going to pull off the win. Like you said, this is going to be nuts. It might end up being match of the night. Just how well these two guys always put on a banger. So this is going to be awesome.
It's going to be tremendous. Courtney, how about you?
Well, I'm on the Takeshita wagon, choo-choo, and he's one of my draft picks. So, I gotta go with my guy here. Takeshita, I love how methodical he is in his movement, and so I'm going with Takeshita. Sorry, Ricochet, but not your time yet, boo. Not your time.
Yeah, and Chad, of course, SPD is saying Takeshita definitely could be match of the night. I agree. Yeah, and Steven's saying Takeshita retains. And it's sad because Ricochet is such a great talent, but I'm here too. I think that Takeshita is going to retain. It looks like SPD is saying the same thing. And let's see what Bobby said. Bobby said Takeshita wins against Ricochet. What about BC in the chat? Did BC say who he is he still in the chat? If not, I can pull up his picks here. Looks like he's also going with Takeshita. Oh, no, he's going with Ricochet. Look at this. Surprise. Brian is going with Ricochet. And you know what? I'm going to go with Brian. I think Ricochet is going to surprise, shock the world, and is going to pick up the win. It's going to be surprisingly, everybody's going to be shocked to see. And mark my words, that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. let's move on.
You got some insider information?
I cannot confirm or deny. But let's talk about another high flyer, and we've got Will Ospreay, and Kyle the Viper Fletcher Orton is taking on each other. Courtney, do you think that Will Ospreay's streak is fading? You think this is going to be Kyle pulling out the win, or do you think that Will Ospreay is going to be able to pull it off?
Well, by the looks of my notes here, I took notes, and it took me about 20 minutes. I agonized over this choice. Okay? Brav is killing it. He killed it when he showed up in AEW. So I'm giving him his flowers. Now, Kyle Fletcher, dude is nuts. He shaved his own head on national television. Therefore, I will pick the crazy kook, Randy Orton Jr., Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher. Interesting in the chat because they're saying looks like Steven is predicting that Davis is going to turn on Ospreay, therefore having Aussie Open completely in turning heel and in the Callis family. That's a bold prediction. What are your thoughts, Brent, on this match?
That's funny that people are saying that Kyle Fletcher reminds them of Randy Orton. Tommy Dreamer said that on Busted Open as well. So it's, but I think Kyle Fletcher is going to win.
You think Kyle Fletcher is going to be able to pick the win up, huh?
Yeah, and I do like I don't know who said the turn. Was that Steven?
Yeah, Steven in the chat. Let me pull it up. He said that Davis turning on Ospreay, Fletcher wins.
I think that actually is brilliant because I don't know what Davis is really going to do without Fletcher. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it definitely needs to dress better.
Yeah, but they're a great tag team, and but Kyle Fletcher's also he's been amazing since he's been on his own. So it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be another banger.
Well, if he doesn't turn and join Kyle, he could always join the conglomeration. You could just throw him in there. Bryant BC says he shaved his head before going into work, so he's also vipering out at work tonight. So very cool that Brian the Viper Cervantes. Good. And looks like to get compared to Viper is one of the best compliments there, especially coming from you said Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
SPD asked the question, would we have thought differently of the Takeshita match if he didn't just win the belt? I don't know. I think so. I think it's a possibility, but that's the thing about AEW is there's very with the exception of that time around the TNT title, it was kind of a hot potato there for a little bit. It was kind of rare to see someone lose the title so quickly after getting it. So that I think that's one of the factors. But I do think Ricochet is gonna upset everybody. Let's see, Davis turning on Ospreay, Fletcher wins. That's Steven's pick. So we'll go over there. Let's see, Bobby and Brian. Brian picked. He went with Ospreay. He went with Ospreay. So Brian went with Will Ospreay. I'm going to go with Will Ospreay. I think that you can't let the band down. He's not going to let anybody down. Looks like Bobby also went with Will Ospreay. Ospreay's going to defeat Fletcher. And SBD, I don't know what she said to get compared to the Viper. I didn't see SBD's thing. Maybe he'll come in and give it to us live in just a moment. But let's move on to the next match. We can come back to this one. This is going to be chaos, the good kind of chaos, and it's going to just be amazing. There's a lot of predictions, a lot of different directions things can go. There's the champions themselves, Private Party, again, going back to the rule of they just won the titles. Do they retain? What's going on with House of Black? Is this an opportunity to strap a rocket to them and let them dominate the tag team division? What's going on with the Acclaimed? There's definitely something going on between Max Caster and Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. Is Max Caster going to turn and join the Hurt Syndicate? And then, of course, they're the youngest tag team alive, the youngest men alive. It is the Outrunners. Brent, you son of a bitch. Who are you picking for this match?
I am picking Private Party.
Private Party. All right.
And I do think there's going to be, I think we might see the breakup of the Acclaimed here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually one of them might get pinned. And then maybe we might get some Hurt Syndicate because he does have that card, right?
Yep.
So something on that.
Do you think that when you say one of them gets pinned, do you think Max is gonna cause Bowens to get pinned, or Max is gonna leave Bowens hanging, or there's gonna be something like that?
I don't think he's gonna leave him hanging. I think they're gonna like bump into each other or something, and one gets rolled up or something like that.
Well, Steven in the chats is going with House of Black. Interesting. I do like that potential pick. I think that's very interesting. I'm not sure what they're going to do with House of Black if they don't do something like that. But I'm kind of funny about Private Party losing the belt so soon. Courtney, what do you say?
Well, again, this is going to be one of the bangers of the night, possibly match of the night, maybe hopefully match of the year. We got Private Party. Yes, they totally deserve to keep the belts. We got House of Black, who I love, and the house always wins. We got the 80s team of the Outrunners, and they and then we got, the lame, but I'm going to say Max Caster gets pinned, and my winner is, I'm going with Private Party.
Private Party. We're all invited. Very good. Let's see in the chat. Let's see. Bobby also agrees Private Party. And let's see about the chat. Let's see. House of Black. Steven says House of Black. We said that earlier. SBD going with Private Party. I got to go with my guys. They're hot, and it's time to pull the trigger. It's time to pull the trigger, and imagine the pop if the Outrunners get the team titles at Full Gear. Would that make it the ultimate pop in history, or will it be a disappointment?
I think there'll be a pop. I think it'll be pretty big. I think it'll be surprising, which would be nice. So I think it's a good idea. I just don't, I'd actually like it to happen, but I just don't think it's going to.
Yeah. That's using the brain and not the heart, right? Exactly. All right, let's move on. Hanger versus Jay White, another crazy feud. There will be blood in this match. And unfortunately, unless Jay White hydrates enough, there'll be some kind of white mucus as well, as we've seen. Bless his heart. But this is going to be, to quote the man in the black cat, a slobber knocker. Let's start with Courtney. Courtney, your thoughts on Hanger versus Jay White?
I'm really loving this feud with Hanger and Jay White. Last week we did see where Hanger attacked Jay White again and almost broke his ankle. And I'm loving the unhingedness of Hangman. So I went ahead and went with Team Hangman.
Going with the Hanger on this one. All right. Yeah. As well as Steven in the chat is also going with the Hanger. I like that. Of course, and BC says in the chat, Courtney has 7 matches of the year contenders. High expectations. Yeah, they all could be, right? Setting the bar. You got to set the bar high. Even higher if they were in the Tokyo Dome, I suppose. I don't know, whatever Meltzer means by that. Brent, what about you? Which way are you going?
I'm going Hangman.
The Hanger. Burner. Going with the Hanger. Why the Hanger?
Oh man, I mean, I think he just needs the win. And he's just been. I just think he's so good. Like I said, I think he actually should be world champ. He's just, I don't know. There's just something about him that he's just the unhingedness. I love it. I just think his promos are great. He's crazy. I love it.
Bobby's going with Jay White, going against the grain. Brian, of course, picking the Hanger, and waiting on SPD to tell us if he's gonna. Yeah, this could be match night. Hey, look at Brian. Look at BC saying Courtney's got 7 match of the year contenders. This could be match of the night. I think it could be. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm actually going to go with Bobby on this one, and I'm going to say Jay White. Because I think you got to protect. I think they're setting Jay White up, and we talked a little bit about the Continental Classic last night. I think Jay White's going to shine in the Continental Classic, and he's going to put this feud to rest. And if only we just need to get SBD's picks. He's just I think he's abandoned the chat for some reason. Well, look who's here.
It's me. It's SPD, baby.
What?
Sorry, fashionably late. Great chatting. Great listening to y'all guys. Some great takes. Just to keep the flow going. I mean, I think you got to keep this feud going and picking Hangman with this one. And I was throwing in obviously my picks throughout the thing, and as I was starting to make mine, I'm like, this could be a pretty heel heavy card.
Yeah,
depending on how it goes. So you need some big moments. So we'll consider what's going on the rest of the card. But yeah, Hanger, I like where you're looking in the chat there, Steven. Stipulation match at World's End. I almost feel like that could go that same way with like the Ospreay Fletcher type of thing. Another stipulation. Looking at these feuds, it's almost. Some of these could be like, this is like a stepping stone to World's End. When we typically Full Gear is like a marquee pay-per-view. Looking at these feuds, I almost feel like you're leading up to World's End being more of a payoff show than a Full Gear one.
Yeah,
and this is one of those matches that I could see that happening in.
This has got like an Empire Strikes Back feel, and then World's End will be like the Return of the Jedi. Real quick, did you say Fletcher or Ospreay?
Fletch.
Well,
Viper. I said I was going to kick myself for not picking my guy.
Yeah.
So Mind, Brian, and Bobby all picked. Where's FTD?
She's on assignment. She's going to get her picks in tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on a special assignment right now.
Okay.
But and as well as Cray, I know Cray's got limited stuff too. But we'll go from there.
Wait, Mind Runner picked the Outrunners?
Yes, of course I did. You son of a bitch.
I mean,
it's going to be the surprise of the century. It's going to be an incredible pick.
I mean, that would be one of the big pops of the night for sure. But you got to think of Private Party. This is their backyard.
Yeah, it is their band. Again, we were talking about your point earlier about fresh champions rarely lose their belt so soon.
Mm-hmm.
The Raz is in the chat. The RAZ, love it. And we talked earlier at the beginning of the show about the last-minute 0-hour match challenge. We're not going to keep it in the bingo, but just to talk about it real quick before we advance, we'll start with SPD. Who do you think will come out on top with this 4-way between Dante Martin, Beast Mortos, Commander, and Buddy Murphy?
I mean,
Buddy Matthews.
Like this is one of those, put it in the Yahtzee jar, mix it up, and it doesn't matter who wins. We all win, because I feel like these guys are going to just put on a clinic. And how Cray said on last night's show, Buddy Matthews is kind of like his Pac right now in terms of wrestling. I would love to see Buddy Matthews take this one, because I don't think House of Black is going to win the tag title. So give some House of Black some love on the card on this one. and Buddy is too much of a looking like a superstar, acting like a superstar to be taking losses. I feel like he needs a little bit of momentum right now, and I think if we were picking on bingo, I would pick Buddy.
Buddy. All right. How about you, Brent?
Man, SPD took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I totally agree with that. Totally. Buddy needs a win, and he's so good in the ring. I mean,
You're right.
Like you said, for him to take a loss and look so good, it's rough.
Yeah.
So he does need the. I think, yeah, he's the one. I think he's going to win.
And of course, Steven says in the chat, he says, Buddy, because he needs the points. That's
okay.
fair enough, man. That it influences. What about you, Courtney? Do you think Buddy's got to get the W here?
No, I'm Team Beast Mortos.
The Beast.
Frank Mortos, attorney at RAR.
Beast is awesome too.
He is.
I actually am inclined to agree with the Buddy Matthews push, because I don't think House of Black's going to win the tag team titles, but I do think Buddy. I think it would be you need to give House of Black something,
right?
And maybe Julia Hart shows up and helps Buddy. I don't know, but again, as far as my heart though, I'm with you, Courtney, about Beast Mortos, because he's so good, he's so likable, and he's
right.
So I guess my pick would be that's who my pick is going to be. But let's move back to the ones that are on the bingo card. Let's get to boom, MJF versus Roderick Strong. You heard last night, SPD and I talked about our concerns with the booking and some of this, but as far as match and delivering the content, let's start with Courtney. Courtney, what are your thoughts on MJF versus Roderick Strong?
All right. Here's my thing. I'm not a fan of either one. Let's start with that, because I'm your heel right now until Crayfish comes back. But however, I did pick the scumbag MJF to win. It makes sense because I hadn't seen him in the ring for a while, so.
Gotcha. And you think that's going to give him the W? Looks like Steven agrees with you. Steven says the same thing. He also says that Cole is going to show up with the Simpsons spray tan again. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Yeah. What about you, Brent? What do you think's going on in this match, and what do you expect us to see in addition to the outcome?
I think MJF is going to win. There's got to be some kind of shenanigans. You got Cole. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a great match, but I don't know. When's the last time Roderick Strong won a match? It's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't think MJF can lose.
SPD, where you at?
I think this is going to be a clean MJF sweep. I mean, as we talked about on our show and leading up to this, I think this is just a stepping stone block to the bigger feud with Adam Cole. And unfortunately, Roddy Strong been doing some good stuff as of late in the ring. I don't think he really stands a chance, especially with, the scumbag himself, MJF, lie, he cheats, he steals at all costs, whatever, to win. I do think it will be still a good match overall, but yeah, there's no way Roddy's coming out winning, because if he beats MJF, then what does Adam Cole have left, really, just to beat him again? So he's kind of put in a tough situation, Roddy Strong, but I mean, everyone's got to play their role, right? If you're a team player.
Yep. Yeah. You got to know your role.
That's right.
Shut your mouth. I've been making some wild picks tonight, but I can't in good conscience not pick MJF.
You're not going that wild.
Yeah, I mean, Roddy. Yep, I love you. Yeah,
right.
Your other half, not so much, but yeah, there you go.
This is one of two matches I feel like are probably clean sweep with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to talk about another clean sweep coming up in a little bit, but I agree. Let's talk about this one. SPD, why don't you start off?
Yeah, this is kind of one that I keep going back and forth. And as I just mentioned recently about looking at the card, thinking Booker, my Booker hat on, of like what do I want to happen with like giving the fans a good moment. And I feel like this is one of those like only title changes of the show moments. And I feel like this is an opportunity to really capitalize on that. And I'm not ready for Jack Perry to lose his belt, but at this point, like he's been, tied to the roof and tortured and all the above, and so he's faced that adversity before and gotten through it. So I really could see this one going both ways. But Jack Perry right now, it's like he's in limbo. He's running the lone wolf right now. He has no Young Bucks. Okada is MIA. Like what? Like he needs his elite backing him up. So does this give us an opportunity to not put a reset button on Jack Perry, but give Garcia that push, as he re-signed his contract, give him that TNT title push, give Team AEW another belt, with PP and Garcia, those ones, kind of give them a little bit of momentum. And then Jack Perry, as we talked about, kind of a hot take, maybe breaking away from the elite and joining the Death Riders cult per se, which would be pretty compelling in my opinion. So right now I gotta go with Garcia.
Wow.
Right now. I'm going to sleep on it, but I'm going to go with Garcia.
For now, Garcia.
Yeah.
Brian, also Garcia.
Okay.
And I think Steve in the chat says Perry retains. So we've got some interesting decisions here. And Bobby says Daniel Garcia as well. Let's go Brent the Brain. What are your thoughts on booking this one?
Garcia.
Oh, that was quick. All right, Garcia. Anything? What do you think is going to happen with Jack Perry after this?
Oh yeah, I mean this kind of floated in my head while I was listening to SPD. I was, makes sense what you said there, which I kind of agree with. But what if it's the complete opposite, where he goes after the Death Riders, but not as a face, as a heel? I don't know, but just something different on that end. But yeah, he doesn't have anybody. I think they're just going to try to make us forget that all happened.
Interesting. Yeah, it may be like you said earlier. We were talking about a reset. That's definitely a possibility. Yeah. Courtney, heel queen. What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, hear me out, ladies and gentlemen, because
I'm hearing you.
Wow, and brain over here. Okay, so Jack Perry, you're gonna lose, but let me tell you why. I'm gonna repackage you. I'm gonna cut your hair.
Don't cut anybody's hair.
But you're gonna be a heel Jack Perry. But it's time for a fresh new champion, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so he's gonna drop the TNT title. You're gonna shave the beard, cut his hair, and then you're gonna put him in main event contention, main title.
Yep.
Oh. Does he drop the whole driving the short bus act, and you want to lean into his Hollywood, Nepo baby mentality?
Well, I might just want to see if he really just looked like his dad, Luke Perry. With the clean shaven.
Yep. Steven lockstep with me on this. I think, not to, I said this a few weeks ago on the show, like, Perry joining Death Riders, especially with that little nuance of Moxley doing that months ago about I like this kid or whatever, I think it would do wonders for Perry. And how I mentioned last night's show, kind of on Classic, like one of the ways that Wardlow could be repackaged or kind of re-debuted with a boom, no pun intended, would be part of the Death Riders as well. So Death Riders adding another member, I think, would be very important, and whether it be a Wardlow or a Perry, I think would be good. But when the Young Bucks come back, they're going to be baby faces. They're going to help save Team AEW, the team or the company they created. And I think it's going to be a good move to shift them back to baby faces, and Perry continuing this heel run, which he's been doing great. So mine, where are you at with this?
Well, first of all, are you saying that the Death Riders are essentially going to be kind of the NWO of AEW?
I mean, that's what you kind of were saying early on, and I think that's what that needs to happen. And I think they need to start adding more members with this, because I hope we get a new member, because like the way they're treating Wheeler is kind of like a little annoying and frustrating. I feel like you're supposed to be this Death Rider group that is unstoppable and running chaos and pulling the network hostage and all these things. And so like, don't have like this little guy that you're like picking on, essentially like throwing him to the wolves. Like every faction needs someone to take a pin and stuff, but I feel like they're almost like picking on him and making him as bait more, not necessarily. I don't see him as an equal to the other three guys.
No,
at the
he's
moment.
like he's like their patsy.
Yeah,
and
so,
definitely
having Perry, and I could even see them kicking Wheeler Yuta out and adding Perry or something like that. But I would love to see them add more members. And if they did like a double swerve surprise of adding 2 members tomorrow, I think it'd be pretty cool. Add Wardlow, add Perry to the Death Riders.
I love the idea of adding Wardlow to them, and I love the idea of adding Jack Perry. And I agree with Steven, but I think it's going to be sooner than end of the year. Jack Perry will join the Death Riders tomorrow night. In fact, I think he's already joined the Death Riders. He just hasn't said anything. That's why he's taken all this pain. But the one thing I disagree with most of you on, Jack Perry retains the TNT title because the Death Riders are going to show up and help Jack Perry keep the title, and they're going to beat the living crap out of Daniel Garcia. Then, of course, the conglomeration, everyone's going to come out, and it's going to be a big brawl. That's what I predict.
I think that the way you just booked that would be great if it was like a Dynamite main event. But if this is in the middle of the show, like, how do you have that happen? Like, I feel like that's like an end of a show type of thing. But I like it. I like it.
BC says referring to Wheeler Yuta, he's the Virgil. You mean Soul Train Jones? Let's get it right.
Right.
Soul Train Jones. He's like the Olive Garden breadsticks, unlimited. All right, let's move on. All right, whose house? Swerve's house. I swerve when I drive.
Mine's when I lead us off with this one, man. How do you feel? I know Swerve is definitely on your top tier list of talent in AEW. So how do you see this going? Because this is kind of a gray area, I feel like, because you have one of your top baby faces and then your newest signing. Like, you got to be careful with booking them,
Yeah.
But a loss to either guy is not, I don't think, anything bad on their, where they stand in the company. But how are you going to book this match?
Well, see, here's the thing. You don't.
I mean, this is a good point.
It's such bad faith. It's such a bad faith decision to give a debuting wrestler an L, except he already got a W for he already had his first match. And to me, I feel like that's a hint. That's Tony Khan showing his cards. I've noticed a pattern in AEW. Whenever there's going to be someone or a team is going to lose an upcoming big match, they get a W on Rampage or Collision right before. And just like LFI, they got a win right before they lost in the qualifying match for the Fatal 4 thing.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley at the last minute got his first win, so he's not going to start in AEW with an L because he's already going into this match with one win on his record. That's why I think Swerve is going to pick up the win, but he's not going to. So that way, Bobby Lashley doesn't start off in AEW as having an L for his record. So I think it's going to be Swerve.
This is another one of those feuds that I mentioned earlier of like the part one, going to World's End. Like if Swerve wins, I want him to win. Trust me. If Swerve wins, then where do you go from there? Like I feel like the Hurt Syndicate feud is just still starting to spark. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and I don't think the fire is fully there yet. And I think there's so much more to it. But I like where you're going with that. For now, I want to say Bobby Lashley because I think it'd be more as wrestlers and a team AEW. I feel like it's best for business if you try to strengthen your team, and to strengthen your team as a whole. Having Bobby Lashley take a victory here would be really huge to help establish another top tier person. So I'm picking Bobby for now.
Bobby. What about you? What about you, Courtney? Where are you thinking?
Well, at first, I'm gonna give my props to AEW because this match right here is powerful in the representation. Okay, I'm going with representation right here. You can't go wrong with either of these superstars right here. Money to the program, they bring eyes. But here's what I think's gonna happen. Bobby is gonna win, but I'm praying and hoping we see Bass in his glory.
Oh.
And not only that, but one of those people is going to either be Swerve or Bask in his glory that's going to join the Hurt Syndicate.
Interesting. Which one do you think of those two?
I will say Keith Lee turns on Swerve, and there we have a new version of Keith Lee.
Wow. That's that. I'll have to see. Wait and see what happens there. But that is very compelling. Brent, are you along for the ride with that? Are you looking for a maybe bask in his glory?
I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think Bobby Lashley is going to win. And who knows? Maybe it might be Swerve causes a DQ. Is this a non-DQ match? I don't think it is.
No stipulation.
No stipulation. Okay, so never mind. That's not going to happen.
I still think the World's End and no stipulations match.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, continue the feud. I don't think Swerve's ever going to join the Hurt Syndicate. So
he's too valuable right now with what he's doing on his own.
Yeah.
But that is a hot take right there, BC. I feel like that needs to happen with the main event.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have your former world champ get annihilated, that's pretty telling. That would be that would be tough. But anything's possible and anything can happen.
Well, you definitely want to establish the Hurt Syndicate as a powerful group. So what did you say, Brent? You said it's going to be Lashley?
Yeah.
So there we go. Majority going Lashley. Only Steve and I are going with against the grain here, but you never know. All right. The CEO versus the former alien. And this is going to be quite interesting. Courtney, your thoughts right off the bat.
CEO, hell no. CEO, hell no. Okay, let me get first, y'all. Another belt right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
I'm telling you, for Mercedes to prove herself to me, she needs to lose it because I'm sorry, your promos aren't killing it. Yeah, it's just not working, girl. So I'm definitely Team Snacklander. Yes, I hang out with these guys all the time. That's why I call her Snacklander, okay? But the alien is awesome. It's time for a new champion. And then, you know what I think is going to happen? We're going to get Brickhouse versus Snacklander.
Brickhouse, yeah, that's definitely a Camille turn incoming.
Yeah.
Steven just said in the chat, unfortunately, Mercedes, not a fan, but he's picking Mercedes. He's not on the Snacklander buffet, if you will. But how about you, SPD?
Mercedes is going to retain right now. I think she's too big of a signing and too big of a face to not be featured with that belt. I think it just like it goes like hand in hand with like the gold and like her aura and her attitude. And so it's I love Statlander and I've been a fan of her very, all along. I loved her awesome offense, her strength and all that. And then she would constantly, unfortunately had injuries and then come back and injuries again. And so when she finally got that first TBS championship one, I was so pumped because I was like, there's no one that can beat Jade except her. And it was her and it was great. However, the quick turn back to babyface and this build, the build has been fun. I really do like this build, but I don't think it's enough to dethrone the CEO.
Interesting. Not enough, but possible. Looks like Brian and Bobby are also going CEO. Now, Brent, you said this is one of the matches you're looking forward to the most.
Yeah, let's hear it.
What are you expecting out of this, and how do you think it's going to go?
Well, it's kind of funny because I just think this has been a big mess, this whole situation.
Yeah.
But I think what Brian's saying about Camille, like she's like in Wardlow land. Like, how do you bring her back? Like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another. But like these two as wrestlers are great, and I think it's going to be an awesome match. I think Mercedes is going to retain. I would love Statlander. I didn't even want her to lose the belt. I thought she lost it premature. But if you give the belt to Statlander, where do they go from there? I feel that they're going to build something else with Mercedes, and maybe it's going to be against Camille. And I would love Thunder to go after the TBS championship and be the first woman to win both titles. I mean, that would be a great match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Mercedes is going to win.
We are buying Fish Thunder was on the card.
Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting. There's very little Latina representation on the card, but I mean, it'd be pretty nice to have that, to have Thunder, just put her in a even a 0-hour match. I mean, she steals the show. I mean, if all she has to do is get a table and do that ramp spot again, man, that's just I love it every time. I mean, I've yet to see someone else do that. It's been fantastic.
Other than Thunder Rosa, everyone, obviously you're in lockstep with that. Who, one or two other wrestlers that you could possibly see dethrone the CEO if she
Julia
does?
Hart.
Julia Hart, okay.
Yep. Julia Hart.
Anyone else?
I was gonna say Julia Hart.
I mean, you could always go Jamie Hayter too. I mean,
Yeah.
I think any of those,
Nothing against Statlander. Like I do, like I said, I'll say it a time and time again. I love Statlander, but I think the story here, like, I'm not excited about another Statlander run right now. If she does dethrone, like I'd be more excited about Mercedes being just that cocky heel, and then the Camille kind of saga, and then ultimately like someone new, someone that's not been in this title picture versus Mercedes, because she's had a great run. She's beat a lot of people. She's beaten Shida, she's beaten Queen Aminata, she's beaten Emi Sakura, she's beaten the DMD, obviously. So Nyla Rose. So she's had a good title run. But I would really be more compelled for a Thunder, a possible, I know Mindrunner is going to like this one, a Penelope Ford going after it. Who knows what, a rematch with Willow. I don't know what I'm just more compelled by other wrestlers at the moment than Statlander getting a second, crack at that. Where are you going?
I think Camille is going to turn on Mercedes. She's had enough. However, I think what's going to happen is Mercedes is going to introduce her other friends that she can use her money to buy, I think
Wow.
we see a debuting Megan Bayne. And
Wow.
that's gonna lead up to a Brickhouse Megan Bayne feud, and CEO. And again, I love it when a heel has a belt because of the chase. Where do you go with Statlander after this, though? I'm gonna join Courtney with Statlander. I think Statlander retains the title, and now Mercedes deals with Camille with Megan Bayne at her side. And you're going to have a whole thing going there. That way you can let Chris Statlander move on. And I kind of like what Steven said, that this originally was probably supposed to be Willow instead of Statlander in this position. And then when Willow is healthy, we're going to rekindle this Statlander versus Willow feud and for the TBS title. That's my prediction for
Can I stir the pot a little bit here?
What's that?
Can I stir the pot right here?
Stir the pot. Stir it up. To quote Red Velvet, stir it up.
Because although Megan Bayne is amazing, there's two twins that are in Ring of Honor right now, and they happen to be part of our Mission Pro Wrestling family. Yes.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind singing the Renegade Twins be by Mercedes' side.
They have been pictured together.
Yeah.
So that they have been pictured together. That could actually be something. I mean, that's been a buzz for a long time. If Charlotte returns and with Robin, just start off with Robin with Mercedes. I could see that. But I could see a Robin, Megan Bayne, Mercedes, and Charlotte. That would be quite the CEO faction, the corporation, if you will. That would be pretty dope, I think. All right, it's main event time.
It's time for the main event.
For the main event. I kind of missed Mark Henry doing those intros.
Yeah,
Let's start with the Brain. Brain, where are you seeing this one? And do you think do you think OC has got what it takes to put a stop on the Death Riders onslaught, if you will?
I mean, you really can't have John Moxley lose. So, I mean, that would make no sense. And maybe not now. I mean, he's done it before. I was going to say John Moxley could just beat him real quick. I don't know how this is going to go. I originally thought it's going to go on for about 27 minutes, but yeah, I'm going, maybe Brian knows what's up. I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, that would be pretty powerful, just one punch and he's out or something like that.
Yeah,
people would probably be upset.
Also, our tiebreaker. Make sure everyone texts or mentions the tiebreaker of the length of main event. So, Brent, are you going to say 30 seconds for the main event?
Oh yeah, I might go back and change that now. I mean, that sounds pretty good. I like that. Something quick.
No, I mean, what we saw. I said it last night. What we saw with Claudio doing to Darby, that needs to happen, but times 10. Moxley to OC. Then OC can take a little hiatus and come back. It won't hurt him in the long run, but it will elevate Moxley so much more. If this match is a back and forth, it's going to diminish Moxley's being this Death Rider captain. So you need to have almost, like I mentioned last night again, I was like, you need to have matches where Moxley literally the referee stoppage, where he's just beating a pulp and they're just unconscious. You have to
stop. He's already dead.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the match is over. Just pin him. You're just doing this where they're literally just by referee stoppage, his next 2 or 3 matches where he just does it in convincing fashion where there's little to no offense. He'll orange punch and Moxley will just shake it off and then he'll just give him the chokehold and then give him the elbows and whatever it may be. But this has got to be a clean sweep of Mox. I mean, this is still, like I said, smoke and fire, very infant stage. There hasn't even been there's been maybe a couple drops of gasoline on the Death Rider fire, but I feel like a bonfire explosion is just on the cusp.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
But yeah, I
Courtney,
think
what
I might need to
dogs
tweak
are
my
eating
over my
rats.
timing of the match too. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want this to be a long one. I was there live in Chicago with that Orange Cassidy Moxley match, and I thought it was fantastic. Like, as being not the biggest OC fan, OC really impressed me in that match in Chicago at All Out last year. So I don't want to see that. As much as I love wrestling, I don't want to see that. I want to see a beatdown.
A big beatdown coming. What do you think, Courtney?
Well, somebody be mad at me because I'm just gonna say it and I don't care. And she's not here to defend him, so I just go ahead. Mott sucks, okay? Mott sucks again.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Yes.
Mox is awesome.
With OC, because it's time for a change.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
So you're going with Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
The tribal fruit.
Going with the tribal fruit. Interesting. And is that because you think Mox sucks? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, but what he's doing is not it's not been believable to me.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not on the bandwagon with this all white shirt stuff, and it's not working for me, Mox. Go look at your inner Dean Ambrose. Pull that out. Then maybe I'll believe you. But right now I don't believe. And I said 32 minutes, but that might change.
Interesting. I hear what you're saying. However, I am liking the Death Riders gimmick here. And as much as I want the tribal fruit to win for my team, I gotta go with Mox. I can't in good conscience take it. I've made some wild picks tonight, of course, but that would be, I think, draft suicide if I went with OC for me. And but again, here's the thing: if I'm wrong about this pick, I at least get a point for Orange Cassidy. So I think that's a huge thing. I do think we're going to see more members join Death Riders. I think that storyline is going to start to unfold. I agree, though. This needs to be a beatdown. It needs to really just literally, I mean, to use the expression, Orange Cassidy needs to be beaten to a pulp.
It needs to be squeezed out. All the
juice needs to be squeezed. So yeah, I think it's going to be Moxley all the way. So yeah, but here's again, that's Courtney. That's one of those things where OC gets the win. I mean, look how many people you made look foolish with that pick.
Hey, I'm bold with my picks now.
Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you gotta go all in. Wait, that was the other paper. You gotta go
Brian,
full gear.
Orange Cassidy and Jericho have been some of the Iron Men of AEW. And yeah, this is a good opportunity, if need be, to kind of let us reset with him. I mean, I don't know what his aura is with going all black now instead of the Canadian tuxedo. I don't know if there's a little read between the lines of any of that, but they've been staples and workhorses, which is great. Like, you need that. Like, obviously everyone at live shows love OC, but like, I'm fine with this beatdown and let them just reset, recoup, and all that. But I was looking at the card, mind. This is the first time ever we've been, you and I mean, you're kind of going on the deep end on this. You're rolling the dice, going risky. Like, we only have two that are the same. So often, like, looking at the cards, like a lot of us when we're picking, we'll have like 3 or 4 that are really where you kind of really establish make or break your bingo card. And we have 11 picks. Everyone's got 11 picks, 9 on the main card, 2 on the 0 hour. And so anything can happen. And a lot of there hasn't been, other than MJF. I mean, we still need Crayfish and FTD's picks. I think MJF is the only match that's going to be a clean sweep. And I thought, because Courtney going rogue, that the Moxley and MJF were the 2 matches that were going to be locks for sure for everybody.
Well, you always expect the queen heel to swing from the fences, you know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about my wild picks tonight. If I'm wrong, so be it. I still have confidence in my
You're right.
drafted team. I feel good about it. I think that I'm excited for the card. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, get a body bag for Darby. I think that might need to happen. However, if I'm correct, I will crush that. I will get the guarantee those 3 points for the bingo card. And I think no matter what, the true winners are going to be us, because I do think as shoddy as some of these buildups have been, I think it's weird because I feel like some of the more exciting buildups, the pay-per-views have been good, but just not great.
Right.
But some of the ones where the buildup was just really bizarre, the pay-per-views turned out to be amazing. So I just hope we get some debuts, some returns, some surprises. So we need those things to really just get some lifeblood in. And it's time for the women's tag team titles after this. Come on, let's go, Tony. You know what needs to happen.
I think this is hopefully a good pivotal moment. I mean, this is one of the core pay-per-views of AEW, and I think a lot's at stake, and in typical AEW fashion, I think they'll deliver for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm pumped.
Final thoughts before we wrap it up, Courtney.
Final thoughts, real quick. I had this on my mind while I was thinking about it, and last night's show. Why not have a women's Continental Classic also?
Whoa!
Right there.
Look at that. Courtney and Steven, the same moment. I think we're all on this. Oh, yes. And I want to address something else. Go ahead. Get Continental Classic. In fact, maybe that's something we could do at Dynamite Club if you want to, or if you want to join us, SPD.
Yeah,
Fantasy
good idea.
book. I'd love to do that. Fantasy book, a women's Continental Classic. You guys down for that?
Yeah, let's do it next show we're going to do. Next week we won't be on because of Thanksgiving, but next Dynamite Download show we'll do a Continental Classic women's groupings. Team Dynamite or Dynamite group and Download group again.
I think that would be tremendous. I also want to jump in and say that I agree with BC here. And predictions: are we going to see Tony Storm interrupt the celebration between Mina and Mariah May? And are we going to see, is she really retired, or is she going to come back as Timeless? Or is she going to come back as the old school Tony Storm with the Barracuda-like theme?
Ooh, good point.
I mean, imagine
Timeless
the pop.
so good.
I think that would be pretty good. Brent, your final thoughts before we wrap it up.
Yeah, I think Tony's going to have some surprises. I think just talking with you guys tonight has really, made me more excited to watch the show. I didn't know how excited I was coming into it, really. But you know what? AEW always puts on such great pay-per-views. I've never been disappointed, I don't think, with the pay-per-view I've seen. So, and all these guys and ladies, they're fantastic in the ring, So it's where the best wrestle. So it's going to be great.
I'm excited. SPD, your thoughts?
No confetti closing the show. That's what's going to happen. Everyone's going to leave with a heavy heart and just be like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Tears and shock.
But
they're going to be mortified.
This is going to be one of the most emotional roller coaster rides of the cards, because you're going to have these banger matches that are going to pump you up. You're going to have some high spots. And then you're going to have these like brutal matches that are going to be like, whoa. So it's going to be, I'm curious how the media scrum is going to look after this.
Yeah, it's going to be, there's going to be a somber. That. Yeah, I remember, do we see Bryan Danielson show up?
Not yet, but soon.
Maybe World's
It'd be awesome if Mox just like takes over, like they start setting it up and he just runs in and rips it all down.
Puts Tony Khan
Oh,
through the
the
table.
scrum? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome if they did
What-
something like that.
Death Rider should take over the scrum.
Yeah.
They
And
should.
Oh, yeah,
just
that-
kick Tony out and just Mox sit there like, all right, let's hear your stupid questions.
Yeah,
I like it.
and then he starts yelling at him and call them
and
names.
Have Pac
I
just
like
walk
it.
up to one of the reporters and like Brian
Slap.
Alvarez and just like stand at him in his tidy blackies. You know, just
You know how
stand
cool
up.
that would be?
Just have
That's
Pac
so
just
great.
be like staring at him.
They need
What's it
something
gonna
like
say?
that, you know, something like crazy.
Oh,
You're
that
right.
would be that. Oh, that would be so. That would be so sick.
Book
That would
it.
be so cool. I want that to happen now.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We got the picks in. Of course, if you make any changes, you got until right before the 0 hour to lock it in. On behalf of Dynamite Club Gold, Brent the Brain Ross, Courtney the Queen Heel, the SPD. This is your Mind Runner saying, have a great night and enjoy the show.
Boom.
We will see you next time. Oh, it didn't. Not playing. All right.
Still live.
And a bit of a lag on that.